Do you sometimes feel alone? We all do. Sometimes you can feel like you're in a barren, frozen wasteland. This is where I grew up in Canada, all alone, no friends around.
Slow tonight, isn't it?
Or you can be around a big, large group of people and still feel like you're alone in a crowd. You know, loneliness is something that we are ashamed to talk about, but everybody feels it in one way or another. No matter what experience you have, what background you come from, what you're having happen to you in your life right now. So I wanted to make this loneliness manifesto to let you know that you are not alone in the world, and feelings of loneliness are very possible, but they can be overcome. I wanted to film this video because I see you. But right now I can see you, man. And even though I don't know you personally, I want to tell you that I love you because I've been through what you've been through, and I know what you're experiencing. So I'm here for you in your corner. I filmed this video over several different cities because I was grappling with the idea, because we're all ashamed to talk about loneliness, and even I feel it too sometimes. So let me be your guide and your guardian and walk you through this so you no longer feel alone. Stay tuned. Boom.
If I were to ask you, and let's just be perfectly blunt honest here, how many of you sometimes at some point in your life felt lonely? Can I get a show of hands, honestly? Okay, wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be like something where I had to like rephrase in different ways for ways to admit it. Loneliness is this weird thing where like we don't necessarily admit we're in loneliness. We just know that we're not happy. I know for a lot of my life, maybe like age 10 to like 20, early 20s, I was just unhappy. And I didn't realize it was lonely until I categorized it just now, until I got older. I just realized something was wrong, something is missing, and I couldn't really make sense of it. So what I want to do today is, with Jesse, is coach you through some of your feelings of loneliness, explain what it means, explain why you might be feeling that way. I don't want this to be like a monologue or like a lecture. I want it to be like interactive, where you feel like you're actually walking away with some better understanding of yourself. Fair enough? Cool. Can we do that? Yep. Nice. Okay. So we require participation. So first of all, you admitted that you felt lonely at times. And I'm going to talk about the times that I felt the most lonely, and maybe, we'll share some stories and some experiences. And we'll call this the Loneliness Manifesto. So my most lonely time, as I mentioned, was like when I first started learning about social skills. And before I even started, I was just in love with someone. I was in love with this girl, and she was my best friend, as I mentioned, and like it was just not going anywhere. And for 2 years, I pretended to be her best friend, and I was, but I really wanted more. Didn't develop anywhere. I remember being so lonely like that many times in my life. I remember being in high school. So I got kicked out of 5 different high schools, bro. It was crazy. 5 high schools. And it wasn't that I didn't like school, because I would go to the library and skip school. And also I go to the Montreal Casino and play poker. I learned to count cards and play blackjack. If you actually go there, they don't check you for ID. Maybe they do now, but back in the day, I just looked like I was 18, so they would just let me go. They do now? Oh, damn, you guys tried it? All right. So now they check you for ID. Back in the day, they didn't check you for ID. And I go there and I was just lonely. I hated school. I hated getting bullied. I hated like having my money taken from me. I remember very, very clearly, like there'd be a girl that like would be my friend and go like, "Oh, you're so nice." And like, "Can I have some money for beef patties?" And then like give her like $2 for like beef patties at like Côte de Neige, or like beef patties like at the mall, and she'd like take it and go eat it, and like I'd never see her again. And that would happen a lot. And it really hit me, okay? It really, really hit me when I was about 20 years old, around that. And as I mentioned, I got this really dope car. It was like an Acura. It had tinted windows. It was like just tinted past the legal amount, or like just on the verge of it. You know what I'm talking about, like 35% tint or whatever it is, 60%. It was just on the tip. So I'll look baller. It was like polarized tint, and I got like the rims, the rims for the car from Canadian Tire, and I got everything fully decked out this car. And I'm like, yeah. And I felt like I really tried a lot. I went and got like some nice clothes. I went and got like this Ralph Lauren polo shirt for like $100 at the Hudson Bay. And I remember getting all this stuff. And I remember sitting there in my car in my 20s, so fucking lonely, because nobody wanted to spend time with me. I remember eating a poutine from Green Spot, and having the poutine on the passenger seat right next to me, and it's just fucking melting and just melting. And it's getting disgusting, like this sewer sludge, and me just sitting there with like reclining my car with the heat all the way up and just like crying in this car alone by myself. I'm like nobody wants to drive around this car with me, and nobody wants to eat this gross ass poutine. I couldn't even get somebody poutine if I tried. And that was a clear moment when I was like, damn, this is loneliness. Now, for me, this loneliness wasn't something that I chose. And for yourself in your life, it might not be something that you chose either. It was just like a result of society. It was a result of society. And I was just like mad because here I am in a situation. I didn't know how to change it, and I didn't know if it was normal. I thought I was weird. I was like, the weird thing about loneliness is I thought like maybe it was just me. Everybody probably has it together. Everybody else looks like they have friends. Everybody else looks like they have a social life. So maybe I'm just like thinking about it weird. Maybe I'm like not doing it wrong. Maybe I'm just like, I'm overreacting. Anybody ever felt lonely and they felt like they were overreacting? Can you show a hands for that? Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy. Like you think you're the bad person, and really you have no idea where it's coming from. So imagine, I'm like 20 something, I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, I'm just desperate. I gotta change it. Now I never got to the point where I wanted to commit suicide. That never happened. But I definitely thought in my mind the scenario of what it would be like if I can escape the loneliness. And I didn't see a few options. Option one is maybe solve it. How? I don't know. Option two is just end it. End it all. And maybe if I end it all, then I could like not think about it somehow. And that's what I tried to do. I didn't actually take action on it, but I was like, how could I end it? And it just drove me to insanity. Insanity, man. And the crazy thing about loneliness is like loneliness might come from you, but also can come from people around you. It's not completely your fault all the time.
I think for me, the worst stage, or one of the worst stages, were girlfriend cheated on me, couldn't get a job. And what this is like retreating into a state of numbness. I had no purpose in my life, so I woke up every day with no reason, sit at my desk, play video games, one particular video game for 8-10 hours, realize that I'd wasted my entire day not achieving anything, too lazy with rationalizations to go out there and try and make a connection. It wasn't even fear, it was just pure numbness. And then what I would do is I would sit there and I would hate myself because I was the propagator of my own sadness and loneliness. So I'd crawl into bed 10 p.m., 12 a.m. and I just lay there. Just lay there, waiting to fall asleep, because anything was better than this. And the days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months. And then every day, you fall deeper and deeper into that pit. That self-imposed pit. And the light gets smaller and smaller and smaller. People try and reach out. Yo, Jesse, I haven't heard from you in a while. How you been? I'm fine. How many times have people said, I'm fine, when they were in desperate need of help? I don't want to infect that person with my unhappiness. I don't need help. It's all right. I'll be better tomorrow. Anyone recognize these rationalizations? Where does it get you? Gets you nowhere. Stay in that pit. Feel shit about your life. Pathetic waste of space. It gets worse and worse. And for me, sometimes some people have somebody that will pull them out of that hole. They're like, I don't give a fuck what you want. I'm pulling you out of this hole. I can see you're not happy. I know you well enough. I'm a good enough friend. I'm a good enough caretaker, family member, grandmother. All right? I'm pulling you out of this pit, whether you like it or not, kicking and screaming. Some people have those people. Some people have those people and they still won't do it. They're stubborn. I'm an incredibly stubborn person, all right? And that's what happened to me. I refused to get out of that pit. So, what was the next step? Well, the next step was a breakdown. Crying, tears, snot, in my bedroom on a beautiful spring day. Couldn't even acknowledge the fact that it was a nice day outside. Might as well have just been raining hellfire. Or it could have been tornadoes out the window. That's how I felt inside. Lost. And then everyone just comes to your side and tries to comfort you. And the light gets a little bit brighter. Somebody puts down a rope into that deep, dark abyss. And then some people take that rope and some people don't. I took that rope. I thank God that I did. But that's just a very brief overview of how you will feel in that situation and the importance of having the support to pull yourself out of it. But that is what loneliness is. Self-isolated or isolated purely out of lack of options. It's a real threat. And a lot of people choose to ignore it because ignorance is bliss, but it's not the solution and it's not the cure to your problems.
I want to talk about this idea of intimacy and how it affects your life. And I've been doing this for 12 years, and in that 12 years, the idea of intimacy has changed every single year to me. I've always learned something new to it. So there could be like 15 levels to it. I don't know. Every year, I'm learning something new. So the first level of intimacy, let's just go through that, okay? This is what I wish I could tell myself when I was younger. What I wish I knew when I was like growing up, 10 years of the experience of this, what I wish somebody told me, they never told me, how it would have changed everything. So this is what I would tell my younger self. First layer. Let's talk about something called generational therapy, okay? You probably get your intimacy blueprint from your upbringing and your parents. You get it somehow, some way. You might have had a dad that was an alcoholic and he never gave you any affection. Maybe he was a little bit rough, beat you up a little bit. That affected you. How did that affect you? Well, you have a rough exterior. You don't let people get close. But you might wonder why you're lonely. You could also, another experience is be the youngest child. And as the youngest child, you always got hand-me-down clothes from your parents and from your older brothers and sisters. And those hand-me-down clothes, you never got anything new for yourself. Because you never got anything new, you never felt a sense of independence. You never felt worthy. So now you got to go out and tackle the world. And what you want to do is you want to like show them that you can be independent. And you're always trying to prove yourself to people. All these things happen based on how our parents dealt with their own bullshit problems of their parents. Okay? And then it snow piles onto you. And now you're just trying to figure it out. We're all just reacting to how our parents treated us. Okay? Can I use your example you told me? Is that okay or no?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, so our friend here in the first row, in the middle row, he's on a program with us called the Immersion Program. And one of the things he said to me was, Madison, I want to talk to you because I had been orphaned by both of my parents when I was 10 years old. Yeah. Is that correct? So you haven't met them yet?
I met them on Skype. Yeah.
On Skype, okay, but not face to face. So imagine that. Being orphaned at 10 years old, what would that do to you in terms of intimacy? Now, whether you actually deserve intimacy with people or not, you would think that you don't deserve it. You would believe that, why do other people have this, but I don't? I experienced it myself. My situation was my dad left when I was really super young. He left when I was like 2 years old, like a baby, okay? 2 years old, which isn't too bad. In the black community. 2 years old. And at 2 years old, what was kind of crazy is like, I just found out like a few years ago, I have 5 half brothers and sisters. I didn't know it. And he left them all too. My dad was at least consistent with his fucking record. He was a consistent player, man. He left all his family equally. Gotta respect that. You know what I mean? Gotta respect that winning streak he had. So one of my younger brothers spent all of his university money that he saved in Africa. So he saved his university money to go find our dad and to finally find him. When he found him, he was so happy. Spent time with him, spent a week with him, introduced him to the kids. My dad was like, all right, I'll be right back. I'll see you in a bit. Peaced out. Never came back. My brother was so angry.
So angry. He's the angriest guy that I know of for good reason. For a fucking good reason. For a really, really good reason he's angry, right? He spent all of his life savings to go find my dad. So of course he'd be pissed off. It's very fair, right? So I can't even imagine what you're going through, maybe like 25% of what you're going through. Not even like the full 100. I can't even imagine what that's like. But I can try to put myself in those shoes and understand. So what I did is I decided to go back to Africa, like Dave Chappelle. I went to Africa and I went back to my village, and I went to like my father's house, and I saw the house and everything. And I heard a story about how he was the oldest son, okay? And our grandfather took the house from him and gave it to the younger son. Okay, took the house, took the land, took the village, gave it to the younger son. That pissed him off so much. When my grandfather died, my dad didn't even go to the funeral. You know what he did? He went swimming. Cold. He said, I wish that man died twice. He went swimming. He took his cousin. He's like, yo, Kofi, let's go swimming. Fuck my dad. They didn't even go to the funeral. Okay? So, my grandfather was meeting my dad, took away the house in the village. My dad's like, fuck family, can't trust anybody. No surprise he left when I was 2 years old. He doesn't care, he doesn't give a fuck about family. No surprise, right? How could he? Because his life was that way. But I had to try to stop it. You know what I'm saying? I had to try to stop it in my life because I don't want to progress that situation. I had to let go of the anger to not progress the situation. Now, my dad not being around and me having like a female role model in my life, my mom, probably is what got me into dating advice. That's how it happened. That's how it happened. Dad was around, mother was around. Mother didn't teach me how to be good with like females, right? Mother was very nice, didn't teach me any of that. So I had to like figure it out. I was clueless. I thought I didn't deserve intimacy. I thought that I couldn't get it from anywhere. I thought that it wasn't meant for me. And it probably happened because of the situation I was in. But I thought it was me. I thought I was the broken one. Now there's some of you in this room right now that have had crazy situations. I can look at you in your faces and I can't even tell situations you've been in, but I can tell that by the weight that you have in your eyes that something has happened to you. Something that was unfair. Let me tell you, you're probably deserving of love. You all deserve love. I love each and every single one of you, even though I haven't met you before, previously. You're here for a reason, and there's a block that's happening in your life. That block makes you feel like you don't deserve intimacy. And people see it when you walk up to them. And that's what they call being creepy. Mm-hmm. That's what being creepy is. Okay, I'm just like, let's say I was walking up to this guy, and I was like this is going on in my head. I don't deserve intimacy, but I like him. But like, I don't deserve intimacy. I haven't had it in my life, but hey, how you doing? And it comes out like that. And somebody goes, ew, that person's being creepy. That person's being weird. It's like, yo, you don't know what happened the last 20 years. You don't know what happened the last 20 years. It's coming out all weird because like you want intimacy.
So loneliness is a really, really fucking weird drug, man. It's like, it's literally like lowered serotonin levels in your brain, lowered dopamine levels. And the thing about it is, when you feel lonely, you literally cannot see the options that are in front of you. And it's not even your fault, okay? When you feel lonely, you cannot even see the options that are available to you. So, real life example, okay? I'll have a student with me, and I take him out. This is crazy, you know what I'm thinking about. Mm-hmm. I have a student, I take him out with me, and we'll go out to a bar or lounge or nightclub. This happened actually about, I'd say it was 7 weeks ago, Washington, D.C. Take the guy out, we're hanging out, having a good time, and this nice young lady starts to dance on him. She literally starts to grind her derriere on his front pelvis area. And he is just frozen. He's just like...
It was a sight to behold.
Like this, for like literally 2 to 3 minutes. And so, check this out. I go to him And I asked him a question. I'm like, actually, I tell him that, man, that was amazing. And he literally says, what? What do you think he says?
What just happened?
What just happened? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
He says, what are you talking about? What was amazing? And I go, that girl was really into you. And what do you think he said?
I don't know why.
No, not even I don't know why. He's like, you think so, really? You really think so? And I'm just looking. I'm looking at like him like this, and I look at Jesse. I'm confused. And look back at him. Wait, what?
I threw you one of these.
Yeah. One of these. I was like, but you have to imagine yourself there, and you're like, what's happening in his brain? What's happening on a very, very innocent level? Is he can't even accept the good things that are happening to him because he's so used to the loneliness. He's so used to it. So there's good things that are out there for you, but when you're in this lonely spiral, you can't even, let's say, grab the rope, as Jesse was saying, that's out there. Okay, it's so hard to grab onto it. So the first lesson I want you to give yourself is, when you feel lonely, grab the rope. Okay, just say that. When you feel lonely, grab the rope. Grab the rope. You might not even think it's a rope. You might think it's a piece of dental floss, something kind of tiny, a toothpick. Grab it. Because you cannot see what's attached to the other side. You literally can't observe it. Your reticular activation system in your brain, as we talk about RSD all the time, that's the focus of your brain, can't even observe it. Can't even observe it. A lot of your prefrontal cortex, your abilities to think clearly, are just phased out. They're drowned out, and they're more attached into the part of your brain that's more close to the spine that doesn't allow you to think clearly. Now, the reason why you feel lonely is this. Loneliness is actually a tool. Okay? It was useful. So, several hundred years ago, several thousand years ago, when we lived in tribes, loneliness was very useful because it made you not do some dumb shit that would get you kicked out the tribe. Because, oh no, you don't want to be lonely, okay? No dumb shit that would get you kicked out the tribe. Imagine like one day you like woke up and like you went to your chief and you just started like urinating on your chief's bed, like, hey, okay, just like urinating. You probably would have been kicked out the tribe or like beheaded or something, right? So your brain says, don't do anything that gets me kicked out the tribe, because tribes were very small back then, 150 people maximum. Nowadays we're in social media, we have like millions of people on your social media, but it was very small back then, so you would do nothing that would get you kicked out the tribe. So your ultimate, like one of your very, very primal things in your brain is don't do something that gets me kicked out. Like it's very, very primal. Like on the bottom you have like shelter, food, water. Then it's like tribe. It's like the next one, I think, right above that on the hierarchy of needs. So your brain is like, don't do something that gets me kicked out. Don't do something that gets me kicked out. So when you feel lonely, you can't even process the higher levels of making money. You can't even see it. When you feel lonely, you can't process self-actualization, which is on the hierarchy of needs, okay? You can't process any of this. You don't see it. Your brain's just like food, shelter, lonely, food, shelter, lonely, food, shelter, lonely. Yeah, that's it. That's all your brain has. So you all of a sudden you're not inspired. You feel lonely, like you're not inspired to get up in the morning, you're not inspired to go to the gym, you're not inspired to work on your project. It's literally just a primal instinct in your brain. Everybody's so lonely they have no idea. They think they're connected by the social media, by the game, but they're completely alone. You go to Japan, they have things called love hotels. Actually, not love hotels, cuddle hotels, where you can literally just hire somebody to fucking cuddle you, man. You literally pay by, like, I think it's by half an hour, somebody just fucking like holds you. It's like just to hold you for a moment so you're not like alone. Japan has this thing. Do you remember anything when people commit suicide? What's that called?
Well, the actual forest?
No, not the forest. Just where the guys they work so hard.
Oh,
Oh no, yeah. So like for people who don't know, there is a type of worker in Japan called the salaryman, and the salaryman works ridiculous hours, and they never stop working. Like it's like our job on steroids.
That's what they epitomize, though.
Yeah, they do, because it's a sense of honor, and you know what that honor gets you? An early grave. People literally die at their desk.
Yeah.
The only companionship they've ever had in their life is on a computer screen. The figures that are staring them back in the face every day. Only sense of companionship that they've ever had. And the honor of knowing that they've done a good job. The honor of knowing that they've put the needs of the company above them, right? Always good to have that quality in an employee, but not to the point when they're dead. You're gonna sacrifice your entire life for a couple of numbers to get one more zero on that screen? It's insane. Absolutely mental. That's how some of these people work. And they're so lonely all the time. You'll meet people that have never even been intimate with somebody, never had sex their entire life. They've never had a girlfriend, never even had a conversation with a girl. I go to Japan quite frequently. I personally love the country. The culture's, a little bit iffy for me. But I meet some of these people. I'm like, yo, when was the last time you had a friend or a relationship? And they're like, never. You speak a little bit to like the taxi driver and it just makes their day because nobody ever speaks to them. They lose their shit. It's great. I'd recommend trying it, right? You make somebody's day and you feel better about yourself as well. And these people, they're so devoid of actual connection with people. They don't even know what it's like to have a conversation. It's freaky. It's like We Are Legion. You go and walk into Akihabara and everybody's like on their cell phone. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, so I think if you find yourself being like this, one of the things you can do, so one of the things you want to stop doing, is just what we're talking about, is this self-isolation, okay? Everybody just say self-isolation. Self-isolation. Okay, self-isolation. Good. That's one of the things you want to stop doing immediately. Take an audit of your life and look at your life and say, where am I isolating myself? Where am I choosing to be alone, even though I don't even know why? Where am I choosing to be alone? If your friend's like, we're going here, like, it's fine, I'm just gonna not go. Realize where you're being alone. Realize if Instagram or social media is taking over your life. Maybe it's time to do an Instagram detox. Maybe it's time. I'm doing one right now, by the way, on my personal account. Anytime I see that now, unfriend. I don't even follow these people because these people create the feeling of loneliness inside. And you should at least, I'd say at least twice a year, just deactivate your Instagram account, deactivate your Facebook twice a year for 1 week. And you're gonna have little twitches where you're twitching in the night, you wanna check it. Because you wanna wake up in the middle of the night and look at your phone and check the notifications and you're like, oh, should I log in? Go out and make a real connection. Go out and meet somebody socially in the real world. I think a lot of, this is gonna sound messed up, I think a lot of politically correct culture that we have right now, like social justice warriors and things like that, I think that wouldn't happen unless if we were actually communicating with other people. Because if we were actually communicating, there's preach, Madison. If we were actually communicating with other people, we would know that it's okay to be offended every once in a while because real people will offend you every once in a while. Right? If you're learning the stuff that we teach here and you're going out and you're socializing, when is the last, if you guys went out in the last month, anybody here fuck you face to face? Anybody going out?
Yeah.
Anybody going out? Okay. So anybody's going out, 25% of the people say they've heard fuck you face to face. All right, just randomly, okay? Anybody go out face to face and just hear we're lesbians this week, okay? 25% of the room. Okay, so you've been out in real life. You brush shoulders with reality, so you know that people are assholes sometimes for no reason. So people that are getting too uptight about political culture, they're not interacting with enough strangers. They're not getting out there and just reading people, because if they did that, they'd realize it's not all roses. Sometimes people are mean, sometimes they're assholes. So while you go out and you interact with somebody, kind of bruises your ego for a second, you're learning something so important. You're learning how to interact with strangers. You're learning the reality of life. The reason I can teach what I teach is because I didn't think about it in my bedroom. I went out and I tested it in real life. Tested it. We taught it to people. And we saw their reactions. And we saw what they got. And we refined it to a real science. Okay, so that's the first thing. Get out of self-isolation. The second thing you got to do is realize the difference between loneliness and chosen isolation. So, difference between loneliness and chosen isolation. Can I hear you guys say that for yourself? Difference between loneliness and chosen isolation. Good. So for myself, my dream, baby, I'll tell you my dream. My dream is to go to fucking some mountain somewhere and get a cottage and a dog and never see anybody again. That's my dream. Now, why do I have that dream? Because for 5 years I've been touring internationally, over 100 cities in total. Repeating to some of these cities, I have 600,000 miles on my airline thing, which is enough to go to the moon and back, and then half a trip to the moon again. Okay, that's a lot of miles, baby. That's a lot of days on the road for 5 years. My dream is to have self-isolation, chosen isolation, which is different though than being cut off from society. Now, there's people that sometimes feel empowered by it. If you choose the isolation, you will feel empowered. Right? It's different than if isolation is put on you. If you choose the isolation, you can feel empowered. Watch your life, see where you're self-audit yourself, see where you're putting yourself alone, see where you're cutting people off, see where you're choosing isolation. Number 2, get out and learn to socialize. Actually take a program. Learn the stuff that we're teaching. Implement it. Implement it. The best way to not feel lonely is to actually start taking action. That's why we're always like, go out, go out, go out. We've been saying that for a decade now, 15 years in fact. Go out, because we know once you go out, you will get the skills and the feedback so you won't feel isolated. Once you start interacting with people around you, then you'll see the opportunities and the ropes that are available. Then you'll see the chance that you can have. And also, number 3 is maybe you need some self-chosen isolation, where you go on a nature walk, you go on a hunt of some kind. You spend some time out in the wilderness to connect with the earth and ground and realize where you're falling short. Isolation that's chosen for a reason and a purpose is a lot different than just being cut off, all right? So realize where you can do that. And most importantly, I would say number 4 is realize where you're afraid of intimacy. That's the major thing. I was speaking to somebody today, just on the phone, a Skype client, and he's like, you know what, this person I was talking to for 4 months, and I wasn't able to have a relationship with them. And I go, what were you doing? He goes, well, I was very physically afraid because I had some physical problems with me. I go, did you tell the person? He goes, no. And I go, do they want to date you now? And he goes, no, it's 4 months has passed. Well, maybe you should have been intimate in terms of telling them what your challenges were. If you open up to them, if you were intimate and vulnerable, maybe they could have been vulnerable back with you. But if you're not vulnerable people, they can't be back with you. Guess what? So Jesse hasn't had like so now he hasn't had a long-term relationship because he's been traveling, right? Like we're switching cities every week. So besides that, I went back to Jesse and I said, well, there's this girl that you like in this city and this girl in this other city. How come you can't see them? He's like, well, I'm busy. I'm busy, or stuff happens, we're moving around. But I said to him, wait a second, I've had long-term girlfriends as we've been traveling with somebody I've seen 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. I've had it, how come you haven't? And he goes back and he tells me this story. He's like, when I was 16.
Yeah.
Okay, when I was 16, he's like, when I was 16.
I'll correct you when you continue.
When I was 16, I had this girlfriend, and we'll call her Cheryl. Okay, and Cheryl was my girlfriend. I was with her for quite a while. She was with my family and everything. And then eventually, I found out she was cheating with my friend, Anthony. And guess what? They were in my class together. And I had to look at them every single day while they were together. And I'm just looking at them in class every day, just seething, sitting here looking so mad, and clicking my mouse and crunching my mouse, looking at them because they cheated on me with each other. And now they're together and they're so happy. And I would call them and be like, where is the girl? Like, oh, I don't know where she is. Where's my friend? I don't know where they are. And the whole time they were together for weeks under my nose, just like that, right? And I said to Jesse, I'm like, Jesse, you know what? It's really crazy. I've never really met any of your girls that you've been dating. And I'm like, actually, none of our friends have met your girls. And then we realized Jesse doesn't introduce his girls to us because when he introduces his girls to a friend, the guy cheated with it, right? It's like there's a pattern there. Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't realize it. He's like, yeah, that's right. Today we're talking about it. I was like, yeah, that's right. So that's a trauma loop, right? It's a constant behavior of not introducing girls to friends because when you did that before, it didn't work out. So what you gotta do in your life is, to get back to your question, is trauma is not gonna be something that you can see. It's not gonna be something you can identify very easy. You gotta look at what are the patterns in my life? where I can't get past it. There's like a glass ceiling, and no matter what I do, I can't get past that certain level of result. And there may be a trauma there that you're trying to avoid. It could be even financial. If the second you get $3,000, you spend it every time, there's something going on there you gotta look into. The patterns, the glass ceilings of success. And usually when you look there, you can sort of find a trauma of some kind. It might be like, let's say for example, if you can't save over $5,000, it might be that you grew up poor and you're just so happy to prove to yourself that you have money, you're not gonna be poor. So you gotta go and spend it to prove yourself you're not gonna be poor. Maybe it's that. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things, right? So just look at the areas where you can't push past it, and there's probably a little trauma there that, believe it or not, people around you will usually be able to identify. Not exactly on the point, but they can give you some clues, and that helps out a little bit.
Welcome back. Now, the world is designed in a way to never make you feel like you're enough, like you are always alone. That's how consumerism works. They try to sell you the new watch, get you to get the new iPhone, right? So I'm even recording on this right now. Or make you feel like you'll never meet your ideal partner unless you improve. But you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to be a slave of consumerism. You do not have to be the victim. Do not let the world do that to you. So what I encourage you to do is surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that can support you, and keep you accountable to improving. People that are in your corner. Form your own new tribe. And I want to help you do that. I can be your mentor. I can be your friend. My one-on-one mentor calls. That's me in your life every single week for the next 2 months, motivating you, guiding you, and keeping you accountable in ways that you can't even imagine. I'm also gonna give you a strategy so you can improve yourself every single day. So we'll put a little snippet of how you can get in touch with me for that after this video. If it's something you're interested in, I highly recommend you take advantage of it because I'm throwing you a rope right now and I don't wanna see you drown, man. I'm there for you. Let me pull you up. Keep in touch. Cheers.
What's up? My name is Madison, and I'm a teacher of high-end social skills. That means taking all these behaviors and having you resonate with a high-value life. I've been teaching this to tens of thousands of people face-to-face and literally millions online now. And for the first time ever, I'm opening up my one-on-one VIP Skype mentor calls to the world. This is the same program that I teach people internationally across the 4 corners of the globe. What I'll be doing for the next 2 months is being personally involved in your life. That means we're setting up time to speak together every 2 weeks. We're blocking off all distractions, anything that can slow us down. We're making dedicated personal time to be intimate and really work together. I'll be there with you, guiding you, mentoring you, and motivating you. Talking about your challenges of procrastination and why you can't get yourself to do the stuff you know that you should be doing. Talking about why you have a system in place or strategies and helping you execute it. Or if you already are the executor and you're that leader, figure out how you can be a leader in your dating life and other parts of your world. Now, I'm gonna do this through very specific missions, feedback, exercises, and most importantly, homework during our calls. This homework will be done and we'll reevaluate it on the next call to make sure you're making progress in the direction that we want to go.
This understanding what I have right now is like getting a good understanding about myself and what I bring to the table. And from there, how I have to communicate this, the success will come. Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for this. So money, girls, success will come. Whatever I want to do, it will come.
In session number 1, we're going to deal with the unconscious. That means the BS programs that have been running in the background, holding you down, the behaviors that don't help you. We're going to figure out what your true heart desires. In session number 2, we're going to work on your social life. We're going to understand the communication skills that are going wrong, how you can communicate better, so you can build real relationships in your love life, with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers. Number 3 is a deep dive into your love life. And we're going to figure out what exactly it is that you want in a partner. Where are you coming short? Identifying the screening questions for that partner and figuring out where you can go out in the real world to meet them. In session number 4, we're going to look at your job and your career. That is your hidden talents and qualities that you aren't even aware exist. How can we capitalize on those to get you a promotion or make you more money? And then figure out who your aspirational contact list is, the people that you want to aspire to meet, celebrities or influencers, high-up directors and presidents. And how could you get to meet them and how could they resonate with you? We're going to uncover that. In session number 5, we're going to refine you to make sure that you are the best you can be. We're going to go back and look at any questions you might have had that weren't answered. And we're also going to set up an action plan and roadmap for the future so you will not be left alone. You're in good hands and you are now your own best coach. You might hear the term mentor coming up everywhere. Get a mentor, everybody needs a mentor. But what is a mentor really? It's a father figure that's there for you in your life that holds you accountable and calls you out in your lies when you're seeing yourself short.
because they don't accept that from you, and they know that you should not accept BS from yourself.
I came here with the belief that I would get a lot more insights into dating, but I got much more of that. I got like the basis of how to feel more confident, how to be a better human being basically, and then you linked it with how to do that with a girl. And I think that's a lot more valuable than just saying, okay, yeah, to approach a girl you have to like walk up to her. I really think, okay, might as well do another one in the future, in the close future, hopefully.
I always judge myself like based on my losers. I heard everyone's laughing, and I always thought like, what am I feeling? What am I getting out of this? And I just saw my father. He, in front of my eyes, he eats and drinks, and he becomes like obese and drunk, and I know I don't want to be like that. Okay, so I want to be like the greatest at everything, and then I was just so happy because I was finally felt. First of all, I felt proud of myself. I felt strong. I said, "You're not gonna be like that because you made choices that brought you here to feel that." And I did it, and I just felt like this is the most powerful experience I had in my entire life, and I just felt like I wanna hug these two guys.
I like people that are committed to change. That's what I want to be around. And I want to work with you if you're committed to transforming your life. So here's what we're going to do right now. There's a link that pops up on the screen, madisonhimself.com/application. I want you to click that application link. What's it going to do? Take you to a page with a few short and easy questions. Really simple to fill them out. And then you'll book a consultation call for free with me and my team, okay? An absolutely free call. I can't stress that enough. And then we'll figure out exactly how we can help you. Look, now's the time to stop procrastinating. Now's the time to stop saying, oh, I'm gonna do it. Because if you would have done it, you would have done it already. And you are your own worst enemy. And I really mean that. You know it's true. You're your own worst coach. Taking your own advice has got you this far. But you know, it sucks being where you are, and you wanna get further. I don't want to see your life go down the drain of despair, procrastination, and being pathetic. Enough is enough. Let's get done with that. Click the link down below. Sign up for an absolutely free consultation call. It's a no-brainer. It costs you nothing, and you're going to get help. Don't be too proud to get help. Take it while it's there, because opportunities like this don't come very often. And I'll see you in a bit. I have spoken.